Welcome to the Dr. Yasmin Davids Leadership Institute and the Multicultural Women Executive Leadership Foundation's Ambassador Spotlight, where we highlight the stories, the glories, trials, and tribulations of our alumni ambassadors who are top movers and shakers in their industries. Today, I interview Rosemary Bernal-Gomez, statistician for the Southern California Edison Company, alumni advisor for the Multicultural Women Executive Leadership Program, and winner of the 2018 Dr. Yasmin Davids Courage and Leadership Award. Welcome, Rosemary Bernal-Gomez, my alumni, dear to my heart. You know, I love you very much. And we're interviewing you today, and I'm so excited to feature you, and you can share your life and the impact life has had on you and the great things you've done with the world, with the millions and millions of people who are going to watch this interview. So
no pressure.
No pressure at all. No pressure. But
thank you, Dr. Davids, for having me here today. It's an absolute honor. And I am looking forward to this interview and sharing with the world how amazing this program is.
Thank you. So tell me a little bit about and tell the world, who is Rosemary Bernal-Gomez? Well, actually, many people know you as Rosemary Perez.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Your name is Rosemary Bernal-Gomez now. Tell me a little bit about why name change.
Yes, well, I recently remarried. And as any of you women out there know, name change is quite the journey with applying for new social security card and marriage license and so on and so forth. Yes, my previous marriage, I was Rosemary Perez. We had children, and so it was much easier just to keep the last name as my children got older. But I've been divorced a very long time and recently met this amazing man. We've been married 2 years now. And so I am in the transition of a name change. Not exactly like Elizabeth Taylor, but
I hear you. So who is Rosemary Bernal-Gomez at your core? And not, necessarily who the world sees, because that's who you are too, but just,
yes,
who's Rosemary?
Yes, I was born in Los Angeles, California. So I'm a true Angelino at heart. I love my city. I love the culture and diversity of where I grew up, with the food, the music, the museums. It's just, I had so much accessibility to so many beautiful things. And born and raised again, I've gone to school. My undergrad, I started at Cal State LA, transferred and finished it at the University of Laverne, and then my MBA at the University of Redlands. And the things that I love and I am passionate about are community and STEM. STEM is a very big thing. I love to encourage Latina women to find their careers in STEM. And I have 2 beautiful children. And within my marriage, I gained 2 additional beautiful children. So now we're a party of 6.
Wow. From a party of 3 to a party of 6, right?
Yes.
That's wonderful. And so there's so much to jump into, so much that I want to cover with you in the short amount of time that we have. But let me just jump right in. And because I know that you're not going to tell the world, probably. But I want to just put it out there before, you share what it is you do, about you being featured on Harvard Business Review, being interviewed, being featured by Forbes magazine for your phenomenal work. Let me start there. What kind of work do you do and that these super, mega organizations are featuring you in?
Great question. And it has evolved. So for today, my title is a predictive analytics advisor. I work at Southern California Edison, and I have been with the company, I want to say almost 24 years, 25 years. It goes by so fast. In that journey of 25 years with the same company, I have been very, very fortunate to work in different organizations, learning different perspectives from electricity, grid infrastructure, business planning, and just recently, the safety organization. I'm so passionate about the safety organization because I am taking data from injuries and most specifically our linemen who climb the poles, as you know. What I don't think anyone here or out there truly understands the danger that they face each and every day. All of us walk into our bedroom, our living room, and we flip a switch and the light turns on. That's an expectation. Our linemen make repairs under all sorts of conditions, heat, rain, and they're making sure that your lights stay on, but they're working on those repairs while the voltage is energized. So unfortunately, we do have catastrophic events, fatalities for our linemen because it's such a dangerous job. So I wanted to study the data of what are those conditions that happen, what was prevalent, and how can we learn from these incidences, from these horrible fatalities that have affected families, and how can we try and eliminate it? We'll never have another fatality again. So I was partnering up with my data science friend, Jeff Moore, and we talked about coding, we talked about culture transformation, and how we can bridge that together. So we created a safety predictive model using artificial intelligence, and we studied critical thinking skills and data, to make a long story short, and created a model that pings specific work activity complexity before anyone even climbs a pole. So it really gives you some insight as to the specific dangers that are apparent, that perhaps if you know more information about a situation you're going to go in, you're going to have heightened awareness. So this is all innovative. No other utility company in the United States has anything like this. So this is why Forbes magazine featured this work and Harvard Business Review, because it is changing safety, saving lives, and bridging artificial intelligence into it.
So you're doing some amazing things, right? You being innovative, you're being featured. I mean, I know that when I first met you in 2018, you came up to me and you're like, I've been sitting in a cubicle for I don't know how many years, waiting to be tapped on my shoulder to take on the next big project, to do something. And you were pretty quiet. And now, 2.5 years later, you have completely changed your life and taken your career to the next level.
Yes.
What happened?
I think it's really important for everyone to understand that while others may look at success and think, oh my gosh, that's wonderful, it really has evolved over a long period of time. There is no such thing as overnight success. Though people who are being acknowledged, let's just say at the time, it's because they've been at it for many, many years. And as I shared, being at Southern California Edison for almost 25 years, it's been a journey. And in that journey, you need to take time to invest in yourself and invest in learning, grid infrastructure. That takes time. So there was a point, as you mentioned, in my career where I was missing a piece of the puzzle. I didn't know how to get to the next phase, and I was struggling. Was it my leadership skills? Was it my communication, how I articulated? I was struggling to find what is that piece of the puzzle. As I think that all of us at one point in time, we come to a crossroads. Which path do we take? So I proudly wear this pin. It's the Women in Negotiations pin. And I was sitting in my cubicle one day, really frustrated because I was going nowhere. And I felt, what is that piece of the puzzle that I'm missing? And my friend, Ben Almendares, who is a huge advocate for women and supporting them in leadership, heard of a young lady, Natalie Lopez, who had taken the program and saw a huge change in her career. And so I thought, okay, well, I don't know how Women in Negotiations is going to help me. I don't, but I was willing to be open to anything. So it's a 3-month program, 1 weekend a month. And I remember you, Dr. Davids, you were talking about planning preparation and kind of the win-win situations of negotiations. It's like, you have to really understand both perspectives. You have to understand how to prepare your speeches, do your homework, and really understand also what your leader is looking for, because we all want to look good. And it just clicked for me. And I realized that is it. It's a little combination of everything, my confidence, preparation, and really knowing that I can do this project. So knocked on the door and I walked out with the project. And then I sat in my cubicle thinking, wow, this really works. So everything you had taught us are from not just curriculum, but in confidence and also in our presentation. And that really, for me, was the key. And that is where my journey of success, I would like to say, really began to develop. And after the 3-month program, I proudly wear my win a pin, because it's also not just a program that started to open my mindset about the impossibilities are not impossible, that anything is possible. And it's also a pin of remembering all of the beautiful women that I met, which we now call each other sisters. And so that is where it started. And from that point on, I continued to evolve in learning your content, reading your books, attending any of your seminars, because you inspire and empower women. And you remind us of that blueprint that we already possess. And you kind of shine the light on where that path should go. And we do the rest. But you really are a huge, important component of that.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Because I know once you did the WIN program, we introduced you to the Multicultural Women Executive Leadership Program. And you said, I want to do it. I want to do it, And so, but I've always said, that you are one of my star students, or probably one of the star students, because you're always in the front, ready to take notes. I can say, okay, ladies, you need to do A, B, and C. And you're like, you do A double, you do B double, you do C double, like you do the extra, right? But the success comes from being committed to doing whatever it takes to get to the next level. So tell me about why you chose to do the Multicultural Women Executive Leadership Program. At that time, it was a Latina Global Executive Leadership
Yes.
Program,
At that time, it was the Latina Executive Leadership Program. And coming off of this amazing whirlwind of change that it happened in my career because of the WIN program, I thought, wow, what could the Latina Executive Leadership Program do for me in a longer period of time? So I was in it to win it. And I knew your formula works. And that formula is a lot of very important components. And obviously, you need to really believe in it, because it's not just a mindset, but the curriculum and how you've structured it is amazing. And it provides immediate results.
How did it impact your life?
So I took all of the content that you taught us, and not just the content, but also the inspiration and about preparing and believing in yourself and advocating for yourself. And that's exactly what I did. So I started to advocate for myself. I started to raise my hand, and I started to prepare in a way where it was difficult for a no, even though no's still happen, but positioning where it will be a win-win situation. I can go into details about all sorts of amazing projects, but what ended up happening was, because I had the opportunity of walking out with that one project, which set the trajectory for many more amazing projects, to the point where an executive was sitting in one of the presentations I was doing, unbeknownst to me, and it's generally in hierarchy. It is, your position and your director tends to report and so on. So they meet with the senior executives. But he was so impressed with the work that we got a personal invitation into his office, which is kind of unheard of. I just remember sitting outside in this beautiful lobby with these beautiful oak doors. And I took a picture of the oak door and I posted it. And I thought to myself, this is what the program has done to me, has done for me. My mindset, my confidence, my leadership, and the ability to know that it's okay to try. There's no failing. And let's just start a movement here. And that most definitely has not been the last time I have been in that lobby. And I've been invited many, many more times. And it is always an honor and a privilege to be called into those rooms, to have a seat at the table, to share with very important people who make extremely difficult decisions regarding safety and business and grid infrastructure and keeping our state safe. When they give you an opportunity to share innovation, it's a huge, huge honor.
So who are you meeting with? The CEO of Southern California Edison?
Yes, the CEO, Pedro Pizarro, Kevin Payne, president of Edison. Pedro Pizarro is the president and CEO of Edison International. Kevin Payne is the president of Southern California Edison. Their senior vice presidents, Maria Rigatti, Jacqueline Trapp, and also their VPs, Andrew Martinez. All of the executives and senior vice presidents, all of them, I have been very honored to form a professional relationship where we get to speak about innovation. We get to share these ideas and how we can be the pioneers of the utility company and changing safety and saving lives. So this is where I found myself 2 years later after your program. And again, I want to emphasize, I was sitting in a cubicle trying to figure out just how to get some attention, how to get a project. 2 years later, I'm meeting with these amazing, important leaders, and we're having a conversation about innovation. And it still continues to this day. And I take so much pride, Dr. Davids, in these opportunities that I do not think would have happened without the program.
Thank you. And I know that you are committed to, like you say, you speak numbers, right? You sing numbers, you everything. And it's a beautiful thing because we need to see more women, more Latina in STEM and being statisticians and being able to work through those areas that many, let's just say women or even Latina women of color may not have been too exposed to growing up, right?
Yeah.
So they're different. I want to shift a little bit here and I want to ask you, who's your hero?
Well,
or do you have a hero?
Yes, I do. I most definitely do. Dr. Davids, you are my hero. And the reason why I say that is growing up in a Latino family, I'm an only child. My mom and my dad are very, very different in traditional mindset. So you were the first person that I met that was a Latina who was empowering and inspiring. You were relatable into explaining your journey and explaining that it is not just a straight line to success, that realistically it is a very long up and down journey and difficult. And so, it's difficult to find those people who can be honest and can also keep it real as far as don't give up, keep going and share those stories. And so this is why I say you genuinely are my hero, because you showed me the blueprint of my journey and you shed a light on it. All of us have a purpose. All of us have beautiful, unique gifts. I did not know how to embrace my statistician math. I did not know. My world was very closed. I thought if you love math, you must probably be a math teacher. But you really opened the opportunities of how we can each take our unique gifts that we are blessed with and turn those into opportunities for me was to be of service to my community and to others. And that is when I found my passion of what my gifts were. I knew what my gifts were, but when I found, I should say, my life purpose is what you helped me find. And that life purpose is being of service to others. You encouraged me to live really beyond the imaginable. For those that don't know me, I feel like when I was born with a planner in my hand. I plan everything. I'm very structured, just, I stay within the box and plan everything. And I threw that to the wind. You gave me the courage to pivot to be flexible, and to go into the unknown. And I created a nonprofit organization that is focused in recruiting young girls in underserved communities to find their passion in STEM. And that is so fulfilling, Dr. Davids.
That's wonderful. You also, I know that you're also now in a doctoral program because you want to be a professor so that you can teach.
Yes. So I look at this program as this beautiful tree, and all of these branches begin to blossom out of this amazing tree. So we have now another branch evolving, which is my desire to become a professor at a university level. That is the end goal. I applied, and I also want to keep it real and honest again about how life evolves. My passion has been at USC, and I wanted to apply and start the program, the doctorate program at USC. But USC and God had other plans. So while I was frustrated that it was like, not this time, we're sorry, not this time. You know, I came to you, and that's another important thing, is reaching out and not being embarrassed or ashamed and saying, can I have some help with this? And you read my
mission essay.
mission essay, and you said, Rose, it's like I'm reading equations. And I thought, that's the problem. So I found myself at Barnes and Noble starting all over again, because we need to be humble. And I thought, okay, let me understand writing an essay again, right? I haven't written an essay since my MBA, and that was 15 years ago. So I applied this time to Baylor University because it was aligned with my mission, my vision, my values about community service and diversity. And I was accepted. And so this is, again, you know, really being patient and kind with yourself, and not dwelling on not understanding the message at the time. But, you know, just like you say, you dust yourself off, maybe give yourself 2 minutes of a pity party.
Give yourself 5 minutes.
And then, hey, let's get back up, and let's get back on the journey. And I am hoping, as soon as I graduate with my doctorate in education,
be Dr. Rosemary.
Yes, what an honor to be Dr. Rosemary and to teach at the community college level. I want to continue to connect with these beautiful young minds and inspire and empower, and eventually write books, and eventually teach at the university level.
Well, you know where I'm going to go with this, right? When you said this, you know, I love community colleges. I'm on the board for the Foundation for California Community Colleges.
Yes.
They're great. And why stop there? Why not teach at Harvard, teach at Yale, teach at universities? So why not, Rose? Have you thought about that, Rosemary?
This is my point. If everyone that's listening right now, this is exactly my point. Just when you're like, this is my dream, this is my goal, she takes you to another level. She's like, don't stop dreaming. So yes, why not? I have no problem with that.
That's wonderful. You know, I'm going to hold you to that. I'm going to be like, have you tried there? So we'll talk about that when that time comes when you graduate. So tell me, what was the happiest moment in your life?
Oh my goodness. As a mother, obviously, the happiest maternal moment is giving birth to your beautiful children, and just listening to them and their voices, their action, their personalities. Most definitely a very, very proud moment for me to become a mother. Outside of that, I want to share a proud moment for me was the day I was able to buy my dad a house. My parents, very humble, migrant workers, very young, did not have the fortune of attending school past, I believe, elementary or junior high, because they had to work. And so because of their feedback and love, my father's constant reminder of how education is the key to everything. I was very dedicated and focused. And when I did have the opportunity, I purchased my dad a house, and the family was inside. I decorated the house. I had mariachi inside the house. And when he and we walked in, everyone started to applaud, and he started to applaud. It was like, okay, what's happening? And then I handed him a little box, and I said, Merry Christmas. And it was a key to the house. And that most definitely was one of my proudest days.
Tell me a little bit about growing up. Were you close to your father?
Yes, my father was my best friend, my advocate, my cheerleader, my everything. Growing up, as I mentioned, as an only child, my mom and dad, very interestingly enough, were polar opposites. So I suppose the theory that opposites attract. And so my father was much more of a communicator. My mom was very traditional and kind of ruled with the chancla. For those that don't know what a chancla is she would take off her shoe and communicate with her shoe, if you know what I mean. So my father was more about curious. What happened? What were you thinking? Let's talk about it. And what did we learn about this? Which is very not traditional from the kind of Mexican machismo mindset. It's quite the opposite. The mothers are the more wanting to bond, and the fathers really have a hard time with emotion. So my relationship was polar opposite. My father was always open about communication and talking, and I felt always very comfortable coming to him with anything and everything. Unfortunately, it has been maybe 2013, my father passed away of a heart attack. So it's been very difficult. Obviously, I think about him every single day, and I do have a hummingbird that comes to my window when sometimes I just need that little extra, and it's a little reminder. But he's with me, and the values that he has instilled about education only reinforced, again, what you have taught us, Dr. Davids. I feel like he built the foundation, and then you took over when he left.
Thank you. It's an honor. It's an honor for me to be there for you, because you're such an amazing woman, Latina, professional, human being, mother, everything. Tell me about a time where you didn't know whether you were going to make it or not.
I would say that was around that time period when I was sitting in that cubicle. And I just started doubting everything, not just about, can I get that project? Am I good enough? What have I done all these years? I just felt lost. Am I in the wrong field? Am I not doing it? Should I be doing something else? Should I be in nursing? I mean, I was completely lost. And I also had this enormous guilt because I wanted to be so invested in my education that even after my master's, I signed up for Six Sigma classes, and they're a year each. So I invested 3 years to be a what they call a black belt, a Six Sigma, and that takes time away from my kids. And at the time, shortly thereafter my children were born, I was divorced. So this guilt about not being a good mom. Am I spending too much time investing in myself? Am I investing time that in a niche that I'm not good at? Nothing's working. So I want to say that was a dark time for me, filled with confusion, guilt, shame, shame of divorce, shame that I might be just doing it all wrong.
And what has been the most difficult obstacle you've had to overcome?
I would say the most difficult obstacle is myself. Before the program, Dr. Davids, realistically, and I want to share this with all women, is imposter syndrome.
It's real. It's real.
Okay.
99% of especially women of color experience this.
Yes. Imposter syndrome. Who do I think I am? Being in this room with these people, or, and do I have what it takes? Am I just talking through this and really don't have a plan? Self-sabotage. These are real things. But again, now, today, because of your program, because of the camaraderie, the sisterhood that I have built after the program, because it's this amazing sisterhood. You're working together so close that you elevate your vulnerabilities to a point where they are not judging me. They love me for who I am. And it's really the mindset of when you are attracted to other amazing, strong, empowered, inspiring women, the imposter syndrome doesn't hang around that long anymore. I will keep it real. To this day, it may pop up, but then I hear your voice. You're like, what's happening, Rose? Why are you even entertaining this? And I was like, okay, you're going to have to go.
Yeah, I remember when you called me when you sent me this photo text and you said, you're like Glinda the witch. I'm like, I'm a witch? You're calling me a witch? And you're like, no, she's the good one in The Wizard of Oz.
Oh my goodness.
The whole interpretation that you share that, because I think that it's very telling on what it is that I think that stays within you of the teachings, right?
Yes. So The Wizard of Oz has a character, the Glinda the Good Witch, and she is the one who at the very tail end comes down to Dorothy, and Dorothy's wearing her ruby slippers. And she tells Dorothy, you always had the answer. It was always within you. And so that is my exact reference to Dr. David's, is that we already carry the answer, but we need the Galindas of the world. My Galinda's Dr. David's, but I'll share her with you. We need the Dr. David's of the world to remind us that we are amazing, beautiful, inspiring women who already had the answer.
Absolutely. You definitely are. What kind of impact do you want to have in the future, in the world, in your communities? Like if there was no limitations, what kind of impact do you want what kind of legacy do you want to leave?
I want to leave a legacy that obviously my children are going to be proud of. I want to be able to provide opportunities and insights to all women, especially minority women, just like myself, probably didn't have all the tools and resources that they knew were available. I grew up in the public school system. My parents worked since the first grade. I was walking home down Sunset Boulevard by myself with a key in my pocket. I did not know that this is probably something that is not the norm. We generally have one parent to pick them up after school or a school bus. But I didn't know any different. And what I want others to know is that whatever that journey is, whether it was in underserved communities or not, that we have the opportunities to really fulfill our niche, to fulfill what our purpose is. But it's difficult when you are in those underserved communities to know resources, tutoring, access to computers, hunger. You're growing up by yourself because your parents are working. And so who is guiding you and who is advocating for you? So this is what I want to do. This is my goal, is to help those realize you're not alone. It's absolutely, relatable. All of us, every one of us has a journey. We may not share that journey because of whatever reason that may be, but it's been a difficult one. But we've overcome. We're here today. So I want to be able to be relatable to how can I help you achieve whatever dream you want?
And who inspires you? I know you have quite a few people, but and who inspires you? And do they inspire you in different ways and why?
Yes. Oh my goodness. So one of the amazing gifts that we receive from the Multicultural Executive Leadership Program is this bond with these women. Amazing, inspirational, empowering women. And they inspire me each and every day. Monica Viramontes, Nora Guerrera, Dr. Veronica Estrada. I could go on and on, but then we would go into overtime. We're not going to 3 hours. I mean, these women have touched me in such a positive, impactful way. Their leadership, their mindset, their innovative thinking. And I was like, wow, I just want to be around them all the time. And they're just, I feel like they're such a gift to the world. And so it's always an honor to be around them.
It's interesting because many times organizations, when they want to bring our multicultural program to their company, they'll ask our alumni, or let's say some of their employees who are alumni, like, tell me how the program has impacted you professionally. And of course, they have a lot of different things to say. However, they always go to the sisterhood, the bond. What I think is not relayed, and maybe you can share, is that yes, it's the bond with the women that is the strength, but how that manifests themselves into you being a better leader, having these relationship with these women. You have gone through deep struggles with them because of the program, what the program curriculum puts all the women through. How does it help you to be a better leader? How does it help you to show up better and do your work better by having these type of relationships that you met through the program?
All of these women come from extremely different backgrounds. It's CEOs, entrepreneurs, executives. They all have this different style, characteristic of leadership. And for me, what I have learned is when I hear them sharing how they're trying to evolve to be better leaders, it all comes down to really one common denominator, which is EQ. I feel that to be an effective leader, from what I've learned and I've shared with my other alumni sisters, is that when you are able to understand the chemistry of your team and see them uniquely individual, not as here's the task, go and figure it out. When leaders are able to inspire and also connect with their team, it's limitless. It's like the things that they will do, the creativity just starts to come out of your employees and your team, and they have these amazing ideas, and also being open to those ideas. You have this idea, this perception of how this project or your business is going to run, but your employees and your team are such an integral piece in that success. And so that also requires taking time to listen, taking time to really understand what are those amazing attributes that they bring to the table, and supporting them when they want to discuss some of those deficits that they're struggling with. If they can share with you that I don't feel comfortable being the public speaker on this piece of the project, then things are going to start to fall apart. So leadership really evolves around understanding your team on a deeper level than just here's the task and run with it. So I have learned that I do this even with one-on-ones. I want to get to know you. I want to get to know what you're passionate about and what role do you want on this team. They're the ones, just being a good listener, they're the ones who'll tell you, I'm passionate about this and this and this. And that's how I've learned a lot about leadership.
Wow, that makes sense, because they're so different and you're all willing to be real and supportive of one another. I think also that when you doubt yourself at any time and you go to them and you share, they are the ones that give you the strength and the courage to take that leap, whether it's, go for a project, or that I would say a huge percentage of the time, us women don't put ourselves out there enough to take those risks because we feel that we need to be 100% qualified, although our fellow men only need to be 50% qualified for them to jump in and take the leap and take the risk, right?
Right.
So our tribe, our women become the other 50% that give us the strength to step in to our power and into our leadership in a way that when we're alone and don't have that, we don't tend to do, right? So I think that that's stuff, and there are mirrors to us in so many different ways. So do you have a life philosophy, Rosemary?
Believe in yourself. Know that you are unique. You are a gift to the world. And know that there are no coincidences in life. There's a purpose why each of your chapters have happened in your journey. Embrace them and then continue to march forward and know that with a positive mindset, things start to happen and things will evolve for you.
It's beautiful. With what you know now, what would you tell your 15-year-old self?
Oh gosh.
I know this is a question that wasn't on the list that I just thought of right now. So what would you tell yourself about life or about anything with what you know now?
Oh gosh, Dr. Dave, 15-year-old self. Okay. You're enough. You are smart. You are capable. Hang tight. This roller coaster ride has some really sharp curves and deep falls. But I promise you, stay the course. And by the time the ride is over, you will be so elated and exhilarated about that entire journey. And you will end with this big smile on your face like, wow, I made it. So hang tight and you are loved.
Oh, that's beautiful. Gosh. So if only we knew that then, right? And with all, and not have to doubt ourselves as young women.
Yeah.
What the world tells us that we should be, right?
Yes.
So are there any last messages you would like to give to the world or share, or anything else you want to share at all that we haven't covered here?
Yes. To everyone out there listening to this amazing forum that Dr. Davids has put together, the takeaway, the objective is we're all at times at a crossroads, and sometimes there's a piece of the puzzle that's missing. That's normal and it's okay, but it's no coincidence that you're actually listening to this program today. So with that said, the universe has presented you opportunities to look into the Women in Negotiation program or look into the Multicultural Executive Leadership program. You will not regret it. It is not just content from Harvard, but it is our very own Dr. Davids, who is an amazing speaker, motivational person. We like to call her our own little Mexican version of Oprah. So all of you, if any of you feel that anything that we shared this past hour has connected with you, resonated with you, please, I encourage you, take another step and look into these programs, and I promise you won't regret it.
Thank you, Rosemary Bernal-Gomez, for being our guest and allowing us the honor and pleasure to interview you. We love you. I love you. The program loves you. I know you're an advisor for us, have been. And like you said, you're never leaving us, so we're not ever going to let you go. You are such a great role model and inspiration for all our women, our future women, and our women who have been through the program. And we thank you for your service to us.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
Love you.
Love you.